What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Caleb with Caleb's Clean Cars and Kearney Auto Restyling. Today I'm going to go over a short video of how to professionally and thoroughly and safely clean your vehicle's wheels. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing I want to cover is going over a product and tool checklist. First, we've got gloves. We are going to be using chemicals that can be a little caustic, getting it on your hands. I have a slight alkali intolerance, so having gloves will help save your hands from drying out or just burning sensations. The next thing we have here is a bucket filled with just regular car soap. We have a separate bucket just for wheels. You don't want to use your wheel bucket as your exterior wash bucket, just due to cross-contamination. You don't want to get any dirt in there and then into your wash mitts and on your car's surface, scratching it. Next up, we have our Detail Factory tire scrub brush. This has stiff bristles to get into the rubber and really scrub out any old tire dressings or dirt. Next, we've got a barrel brush. This, as it is getting into the barrel of your wheel. When you detail your wheels, you always want to make sure you get into the barrels just for that overall clean, detailed look. Next up, we have a flag tip brush. This is going to be for the wheel face. Next, a detail brush, and this can help get into your lug nuts, lug bolts, whatever you have, as well as just getting into any of the corners that this brush can't. And also with this, you can get the caliper if you're able to reach it. And on most cars, mine's kind of the exception just because it's lowered. This is a longer brush, again, soft bristles on it. This will help get into the wheel well or the fender well on the vehicle, so you don't have to reach back in there with something short just like this. Now, as for chemicals, to start off, we have our wheel cleaner. I know this bottle is unlabeled, but this is Stinger 510. It is their wheel cleaner. Super dilutable, super effective. Next up, for a lot of the wheels we do, you're going to need an iron remover. Iron particles will fall onto the wheel just from the brakes, so over time they can build up and just become really nasty. So we always use an iron remover on it just to help speed that process along. Next up, after you've cleaned the wheel, you're going to use a sealant on them. This isn't about adding gloss or anything like that. It's about making it way easier to clean them next time. The wheels that I have on my car that I'll be cleaning, I have admittedly never detailed them before. I've washed my car, but I've never really taken the care to actually go in and detail my wheels. So you and I will be doing this together. But this sealant is great. This is Sonac's Spray and Seal. Spray on, rinse off formula. Do a couple of sprays in the wheel on the face, and you just simply rinse it off. It adds 1 to 3 months of protection. Specifically on wheels, you'll probably get more to 2 to 4 weeks, just being a higher heat environment, and there's a lot more contamination that gets onto your wheels. After we do that, we'll dry the wheel. Of course, I have my leaf blower. I love using this. It makes it brainlessly easy. And then we are going to dress the tire. This is Kosh Chemie Plastar silicone free. It is a water-based dressing. You don't get too much longevity out of it just because it's water-based, but it doesn't sling. It dries really nice. It looks fantastic. And to apply that, we are going to use this Auto Fiber Tire Saver applicator. So without further ado, I'll pull you guys in close and we will start cleaning the wheel, and I'll show you how we do it. All right, now that I've got everyone pulled up close here, I do want to add in a little thing here. We are working inside the shop. It's nice and cool in here and the shade. One thing you don't want to do when detailing your car or cleaning your wheels is be out in the sunlight or working on a hot surface. That is because these chemicals that we use can stain and etch. So always be cautious when you're doing that. If you have to work outside, do it in the early morning or the late afternoon whenever the sun's pretty low and less hot. Again, you don't want to be spraying any harsh chemicals on the wheel, letting them sit, and then staining then you have a huge problem, way more than you bargained for. So we will go ahead and get started. The first thing that I like to do is take my pressure washer and I will spray off any excess dirt and debris on the wheel. This is just to help remove the bulk of the stuff so that the chemicals can actually do the work on the things they need to work on. If you have layers and layers of mud on here and you just spray a chemical on, it's not going to work out well. So we'll spray down the wheel first and then we will get into the action with the chemical. And one little tidbit, I do spray the side of the car a little bit. This is just to help any overspray of the chemical. If this vehicle was dry, that would give it more of a chance to kind of evaporate on the surface and possibly stain or leave some water spots on the surface. So I always spray the car off when I'm spraying the wheel, just so the chemical can dilute a little bit and it's cooler. So we will take our Stinger 510, and this chemical, you can use it on the wheel and the tire. It is a higher pH, and it's almost like a degreaser, so it'll help strip off any old tire dressings that you may have. And we will spray the surface of the wheel. And there is no right or wrong way to do this. I personally like the more is more. I'm not afraid of using a ton of chemicals, so make sure you get into the barrel too. So the first step that I like to do is to clean the tire face with our stiff bristle brush. And a good indicator that your tire is clean is the suds coming off will be white. As you can see on my wheel, it's still pretty brown. So if it's brown, probably means it's not clean. You can always go back through and hit the tire a second time. A nice, clean, dirt-free tire will hold tire shine way better and longer. So that's done. Now, my next step that I personally like to do, I like to work from the inside out. I will use the barrel brush here and just go into the barrel. I like to work top down. I don't know why, maybe it's just a little OCD, but hey, you'll figure out a process that you like to do. I'm always making sure I'm going back and forth in between the spokes at different angles. Now you can buy wheel mitts that you wear on your hand, and these spokes you can always get behind them. I don't personally like those wheel mitts just because, I don't know, doing cleaning like this, I always hit my hand on something like the caliper and it hurts my fingers, but that's just me. So we'll finish up with the barrel here. And then next, we will take our wheel face brush and just clean the rest of the face of the wheel, whatever you can get. If there's any areas that you're not able to get, don't worry. When we come back in with the detail brush, we'll hit all those areas. All right, time for the detail brush. This is when you can get into the lug nut or lug bolt areas, because that's where a lot of the brake dust will like to collect. And I'll always get into these corners that I'm not super confident that the bigger brush was able to get. And traditionally, during this process, I would spray down the wheel well as well and hit that with that longer brush. However, on my car, it's a bit low and it's way harder to get to, so I don't mind if they're dirty. Whenever I rotate my tires, I will clean them then. So now that it's all been cleaned, we'll get my caliper too while we're at it. Don't forget the caliper, especially if they're custom painted, or I mean the wheels like this, they show them off. Clean them up, make them look nice. All right, now we will go ahead and rinse. All right, you notice that I sprayed the car too, again with it. That's just any excess chemical that's on there, either from me spraying it or when I brush it. If stuff flings up, I can rinse it off then. So looking at these wheels, again, they've never been detailed. I do see some brake dust. It looks orange or brown. So next up, we will use our iron remover in here. I know this is labeled bottle, but this is actually a Labo Cosmetica Sidero, I think it is. Really dilutable, and it's probably one of the better smelling iron removers that I've used. They smell like rotten eggs if you have never used one before. It's the sulfur in it that reacts with the components in like rail dust or with the brakes. You can see it turning purple here. That's the chemical reaction from it. Just rounding off the edges of those iron particles and making them a lot easier to remove. So again, I'm a big more is more kind of guy. I don't mind using a lot of chemicals. And what we'll do with this is we can let it sit for a couple minutes, sometimes 1 to 2, but you'll start seeing all the purple run down the wheel. You can see it on the rotor, obviously, but we'll let that kind of do its work. These chemicals do best when they're set to dwell for a little bit, just to help break down that material so you're not scrubbing as rigorously as hard. So we'll give that just a minute to kind of set, and then we'll come back through and we will actually re-clean them with all of the brushes that we used before. Okay, we've let it sit for a little bit. Now we'll come back through. Same process as before with the same brushes. Just kind of help agitate all those hopefully now loose iron particles. Be able to have a nice clean wheel, free from brake dust. Another thing too is I like to do my wheels first. This is because I don't want to go ahead and clean my entire vehicle and then go to the wheels, because again, I always spray these, chemicals get back up on them. If you've already washed and dried your vehicle, that's counterproductive in my opinion. So I always do all the wheels first and then move on to the paint. So we'll just make sure all this is all agitated. And you can see a lot of purple here, so it's doing a dang good job. And we will go ahead, we'll spray the tire down once more. We'll let that do some work while we finish cleaning. So we'll go back with the bigger brush, get the bulk of the wheel. And you can already see the chemical that I sprayed back on the tire. It's not immediately turning brown. So after this, we might be in the clear. All right, little brush. Coming back through. Get the caliper this time so I don't have to go back through. All right, and I will take my wheel brush once again and scrub. And yep, you can see it's not brown anymore. It's a pretty decent white, so I think we did good. So fantastic. Now we will rinse it all off once more. All right, now that wheel's pretty darn clean. So now, to avoid having to do this every time I wash the car, we're going to go in with our spray sealant. Again, this is Sonax Spray and Seal. All we're going to do is do a couple sprays. Make sure to get in the barrel. And then all you're going to do after that is just rinse it, and you should see the water start beating up and not sticking to the surface so much. Awesome. So it's beating up water really nice now. This also makes it easier to dry too, so you're not spending 20 minutes per wheel trying to get them dry. So I've got, again, my Ego leaf blower. I'm going to go ahead and blow dry these off. Now, traditionally, you do your wheels first and then you wash the car. However, for this video, I'm just going to show you this whole process. So the last one is putting a tire dressing on, and you always want to make sure the tire's dry too. Again, I'm using Kearney Plastar silicone free. Again, normal circumstances, you would do this at the very, very end of the detail. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do it right now. So this just comes out as a liquid onto your Auto Fiber Tire Saver applicator. And you're just going to massage it into the surface. And I love Plastar silicone free because it's a nice, deep, rich, matte look. I'm not a fan of the super shiny tire shines, but to each their own. I like a nice, better than factory look, I guess you could call it. And all you have to do after this is just kind of let it sit in the sun. You can come through with a towel and wipe it off. However, if you're not driving, you can just leave it as is. Let it dry before you drive it. The water-based dressings don't typically sling, however, they can. Take my advice with a grain of salt. But that is how you professionally, safely, and thoroughly clean your wheels. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Leave us a comment.